welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering one of your viewer questions, and also I'm going to be guiding you through a couple of recipes that I've tried lately. So first of all, one of your viewer questions. I'm going through all of your viewer questions one by one, so if I don't cover yours now, I will cover them in another week. But the question I wanted to address today is the question, do you believe in the so-called law of attraction? Now, I hadn't heard of the law of attraction before at all, so this was all completely new for me, so I went and did a little bit of reading because it sparked my curiosity, because I'm always open to kind of exploring sort of these different ideas and seeing if they might help and so on. So what is the law of attraction? This is what I discovered. This is what I found out from good old Wikipedia. So the law of attraction is the belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life. So it's very kind of thought-centric, privileging sort of mental activity, I guess the spirit really, over and above the sort of physical world. The belief is based on the idea that people and their thoughts are both made from pure energy, and that through the process of like energy attracting like energy, a person can improve their health and wealth. It is a mind equals power idea and seems to be a form of extreme positive psychology. Wiki says that, I quote, a key component of the philosophy is that in order to effectively change one's negative thinking patterns, one must also feel through creative visualization that the desired changes have already occurred. Positive thoughts and positive emotion is believed to allow you to attract positive experiences. However, it seems that the law of attraction has no scientific basis, and indeed many people have said that this is pure sort of metaphysical pseudoscience. It seems that the philosophy almost turns humans into God, able to manifest their own reality by the supremacy of mind over matter. So it's very much a sort of it kind of takes Descartes' dualism, sort of I think, therefore I am, I guess, to a very, very extreme sort of logical endpoint. Now, there does seem to be a sort of ugly side to the law, which is victim blaming, and I was sceptical about this to begin with because I'm very much a monist. A monist is someone who kind of doesn't believe in a mind-matter duality. I'm a physical monist, I'm a materialist. I believe that ultimately everything boils down to matter, that our mind is physical. It's not really different to the body. The mind and body are one. That's very much how I experience the world and how I see things, is that it's all physical. So I was kind of sceptical to begin with, but when I read on, I found out this rather sort of ugly side to the law, which is that it could potentially lead to victim blaming. In other words, this idea that you have brought something on yourself. So if you get a disease or are involved in an accident, through the power of some mystical magnetism, you have brought this on yourself. So if you're in a car accident, it's not the responsibility of the person who drove into you, or it might just be a pure chance or something like that, but it's because you were thinking these thoughts. Now, I think in a very scientific way. I'm a very scientific thinker. So the simple answer, to answer your question, the simple answer is that I do not believe in the law of attraction. Although thinking positively can be healthy and can aid recovery for certain illnesses, I've got nothing against thinking positively, and some aspects of positive psychology I think can be beneficial. So it can aid recovery for certain illnesses. We cannot control our destiny through thought alone. We're not God. I am very much a materialist, as I've mentioned, and a monist. I think that ultimately, mind is actually an illusion, that we are physical beings that live in a physical world, and we do not have as much control or free will as we think we do. Indeed, the whole concept of free will actually is very controversial. To what extent is free will actually an illusion? Because our brains actually decide for us on a physical level what we're going to do before we even become aware of fact. If actually shown that using brain scanners, I do think we have limited free will. We have, even if free will does turn out to be an illusion, even if science shows it to be an illusion, I think that it's important for us as humans to believe in some degree of free will, because it's very much who we are. What makes us human is this assumption that we do have some degree of responsibility and freedom. That's very much part, that's kind of just what we're sort of endowed with as human beings. So, like I say, it might turn out on a scientific level that free will is an illusion, but I think that's not going to stop us kind of believing in it, and it's a helpful illusion. It's, some illusions, there might be illusions, but they can be sort of helpful, and maybe from a sort of evolutionary level, this kind of trick in our brains that we have free will is there for a reason, to kind of help us make decisions and have agency in our lives. So a limited, even if it is an illusion, I think that we have a sort of limited sort of free will. So, where was I? But we're not transcendent. Okay? I do not think we're transcendent. The law of attraction, to me, seems very similar to superstitious thinking, and it could, and this maybe is a potential downside, I should say, it could possibly encourage a form of OCD in susceptible individuals, because I have OCD. Although I'm not a superstitious person, some of my OCDs can potentially take on a sort of slightly superstitious bent, and there are some people whose OCD is who are very, very susceptible to this form of thinking. And intrusive thoughts around thought control, for example, or fears that they might hurt themselves or others if they don't turn a negative thought into a positive. So what looks like, on the face of it, maybe a positive therapeutic tool for some people, maybe for some people might have a dangerous downside if they're predisposed to this particular type of OCD. The philosophy is extremely perfectionistic as well, because it stresses that we can somehow think ourselves to a perfect state of health. But, the world is not perfect. I'm a perfectionist. So, again, if I went down down the road of this sort of therapy, if you want to call it that, this could potentially just encourage my perfectionism, and that won't be healthy. Because, I know, although I am a perfectionist, obviously I haven't lost touch with reality or anything. I know that the world is not perfect. I wish it was, but it's not. And we are surely on a fast track to disappointment if we don't accept some degree of imperfection in our lives. Now, a woman called Esther Hicks came out with a ludicrous line that, I quote, "Every individual creates every aspect of their experiences. We are in complete control of our health throughout our entire lives. There are no accidents." There are no accidents. That seems absolutely absurd when you come to think of it. This strikes me as a very right-wing, neoliberal philosophy that someone like maybe Thatcher or Reagan would applaud, but that seems completely anathema to my principles. None of us are islands. We might sometimes like to think we are and have this illusion of absolute self-control and transcendence, but, we're not islands, okay? We do exercise choice, as I said. I do believe we do have some choice and some degree of free will, and we have responsibilities that we can choose to flout. That much is true. So, but on the other hand, while that is true, we do live in a society or an environment that has a very strong influence on what happens in our lives. We are free agents, yes, but only within a tightly constrained context. We don't live in a vacuum. All the choices that we make, the limited amount of freedom that we have, occurs within a context. We make choices within a context. And, as such, many things are completely beyond our control, and that's just reality. People get sick because of infections. They can't help getting, if their immune system doesn't work a particular way and they end up getting sick, that's not their fault. It just happens that their immune system didn't manage to combat the disease in time. It's got nothing to do with, they didn't think a particular thought or something like that. or poor air quality. People can't always help where they live because that comes down to economics, not because they had a bad thought that attracted disease. Now, the law of attraction also favours faith and positive thinking over action or thinking through challenges and potential difficulties. More worryingly, it dampens compassion. You should not associate with people who have problems, as like a contagion, you might attract their problems into your life. So if you really believe in the law of attraction and you're taking it to its logical conclusion, then you won't maybe go to support groups that might help you because you might pick up someone else's problem. The law of attraction is passive and inactive as it rests on faith in the universe to deliver, as long as you think positively. Any action is mental, based on trust, without the person actually doing anything physical to actualise their goals. In the law of attraction, you live in a fantasised future, which means you become detached from the present and physical reality. So to conclude then, I cannot believe in the law of attraction. But if you feel it helps you live a better life, that is all fine by me. Because, if at the end of the day, if something helps you, that's all fine. Each to their own. We've all got different ideas of what might help us. So, when I'm criticising this and saying I don't believe in it, I'm speaking from a personal perspective, and I understand that there are other people that it might really help them, and that's great. But I don't think it can help me, though. I prefer more scientifically validated physical approaches to health and happiness. Okay, so that's to answer that question. As I say, I hope I didn't say anything offensive in there. I don't want to offend anyone. This is just my honest, personal view on what I think about the law of attraction. And I will try and answer your other questions in my later videos. So I'm going to move on now to video number 2, where I'm going to be talking through a couple of recipes.